Welcome back to the David Pakman Show.
Back on the David Pakman Show. Log on to donateyouraccount.com/David Pakman Show. Do the right thing. Donate your Twitter and Facebook followers to us. Have you done this yet, Lewis?
Yeah, like a million times.
No. But in all seriousness, I don't see your Facebook account on there.
No, I haven't done it.
You have to do it. This is pathetic.
I mean, I produce the show. Isn't that enough?
No, you never post about the show. There's no writing about the show.
That's your job.
If you donate your account, then when I post, your account will post too. That's the whole idea.
But I don't post.
And you said, is this for? I can't even tell if this is for real or not.
Okay, I'll get around to it.
DonateYourAccount.com/David Pakman Show. Donate your Twitter followers. Donate your Facebook account. It still works even with the new ridiculous Facebook changes. And do all your Amazon shopping through the black banner on davidpakman.com. We had the Troy Davis execution last week. It looked like there was the possibility of being spared, at least temporarily. Now, the Troy Davis case was a controversial cop killer case where there were a number of witnesses claiming at the time of the trial to have seen the murder go down, to have personal knowledge of exactly what happened. However, 7 of those 9 key witnesses recanted their testimony. No murder weapon had ever been recovered. Witnesses claimed that they were coerced by the police. Police and investigators, of course, deny all of this, but there were definite questions about the reality. It looked like maybe Troy Davis was going to be spared. It did not happen. He was executed last week. Now,
this is kind of interesting. I know there were a lot of protests across the country.
Yeah.
But I was driving through Amherst, and there was a huge protest right in the
Amherst,
town
Massachusetts.
square. Yeah.
Let me fill in the blanks here
Right.
for Lewis.
Amherst, Massachusetts. I think most of our listeners know we're in Massachusetts. But, right, Amherst, Massachusetts. And what seemed to be, of course, there's a lot of colleges in the area. I assume these were either UMass students or Amherst College students. A very large group of them, all with signs, chanting, yelling, screaming stuff.
Yeah.
It was quite a sight.
And to no avail. And so now certainly there is doubt amongst many as to Troy Davis's actual responsibility for that murder. Now, simultaneously, another alleged killer was spared from his execution just hours before he was set to be executed. The parole board in Georgia spared a convicted killer from execution. He was going to die by lethal injection on Thursday, and they commuted his sentence to life in prison. This was the Georgia Board of Pardons and Paroles, and they made the decision with less than 3 hours to spare before 47-year-old Samuel David Crowe was to be executed. Crowe was not present at the parole hearing. He had already eaten his last meal, and he was about to go into the execution chamber. And the story is in March of 1988, he killed a store manager, Joseph Pala, during a robbery at a lumber company in Douglas County, west of Atlanta. Crowe had previously worked at the store. He shot Pala 3 times with a pistol, beat him with a crowbar and a pot of paint. He pled guilty to armed robbery and to murder, and he was sentenced to death the following year. His lawyers presented evidence attesting to his remorse. Okay, so in other words, he was sorry he did it, and to his good behavior in jail, according to local media reports. The lawyers also said at the time of the crime, he was suffering from withdrawal symptoms from a cocaine addiction. Okay, so let's just look at this. And by the way, let me issue a disclaimer. I'm going to mention this. I'm not saying that this was related to how this went down and why things went down the way they did. But if I don't mention it, people will email me saying it's relevant. Troy Davis was black, and Crowe is white. Okay, I'm just putting it out there. I'm not even speculating right now about whether it's a factor or not in what happened here. Let's think about this. One guy, 7 of the 9 witnesses who claimed that they saw him commit a murder say actually after the fact they didn't see that. There's questions. There's a specific other person who at least some are blaming for the murder. There is no murder weapon recovered.
Davis maintained his innocence.
And Davis maintains his innocence.
The second he died.
Right. No clemency, nothing. On the other hand, we have a guy who admitted that he did it, and he is exculpated to a life sentence because he has been behaving well and he has admitted that he feels sorry for what he did. He admits remorse. And also, hey, he was coked up at the time. We can't kill the guy. He was coked up. What's going on here? something about this doesn't fit to me. What do you think about this, Natan?
I don't know what to say. I mean, I can't say for certain what happened here, but what is clear to your point about whether race is a factor, maybe not in these specific cases, but in, many other cases.
Sure.
I mean, this just it seems to me like something that almost never happens. I've never heard of this happening. I've never heard of someone who's about to die just getting let off the hook for seemingly no reason.
Well, it does happen. And here are the reasons that they gave. Based on all this, I'm against the death penalty. Or you're against the death penalty, Lewis.
Right.
What is your main reason? What's the most compelling argument you can think of for you to be against the death penalty?
I don't really see much of a difference between life in prison and the death penalty. And I think if death is the ultimate punishment, and in a lot of cases you can't know 100% if these people are guilty, then life in prison should be good enough.
Well, for me, it's every argument, every aspect. Number one, time after time we see that the death penalty is not a deterrent to crime being committed. Okay, so that's not a factor. The death penalty is irreversible. Life in prison, people do get out sometimes.
Right.
Sometimes,
if evidence comes up.
If we're going to make the financially conservative argument, it's more costly than incarceration. An execution is more costly than a life incarceration.
Is it?
Yeah. And it's a little bit outdated. I mean, really. Every other country at the level of development the U.S. is at no longer has the death penalty.
Yeah.
By the way, they also have a different healthcare system, which also makes sense. It's a little bit confusing that being so advanced, the U.S. seems to be very behind both in healthcare systems as well as in the death penalty. And I really don't think that if someone commits a murder, that then it is made equal, the victims are made whole, the situation is made zero-sum, so to speak, by the state putting someone to death, by the state killing someone, being in the business of killing people. For me, there's no aspect of the death penalty that makes sense at this point, 2011, at this point in time.
Yeah, I think it is a bit archaic, and I guess it sends a bad message.